30 square, it's the same level as the road.
No kidding, nice.
Well, I thank God.
Alive.
I don't have to test anymore.
Let me go to the first aid cabinet and see what we have, okay?
Yeah.
I can't wait till Sunday to see. Well.
Now, did you get an answer from anybody about the plans?
Yes. And I was hoping to have town board member here tonight to explain. Yeah, we can talk about that.
Well, I just wanted to know if you got an answer.
Yes.
Now, on the news, saw it 2 or 3 times today. Somebody, 22% of the population of this country are satisfied with what's happening in our federal government. We put that together with solar panels that are being funded by the government.
Making concessions to so many only please a few.
Yeah, but.
And it's 50% of the people who like to say something that is afraid to. And the other 50% are happy with their checks they got last year.
But what I'm saying is, we're setting these things up for 20 to 25 years. Do we really think technology is not gonna change? And how many 25-year-old vehicles out
Hi, Steve.
there? Right now.
Slid right over the finish line in time.
He's got 2 minutes.
How you doing? What's
Good.
up?
If the money dries up, financial backing,
Big agenda's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It doesn't require anything on day C or C.
what my question.
Small as a.
Good.
Big.
Yeah, 'cause I grabbed the wrong paper off the shelf. I had that plan on everything to grab something from the other job.
Do you need a copy of the plan?
And once we have some, we never hear back.
Right.
We don't know.
Last month I came here,
Yeah.
and I grabbed what I thought was the agenda and all that envelope. And said, well, the planning board asked for it, and I passed it out. And I usually throw my, New York State inspections in my Corvette. I get in there, open the thing up, and I'm looking at all these,
Think that,
you know,
the one on the
New York
Great
State
Road has
inspections.
3 owners.
Oh, yeah. Don't keep- I know, this is
Don't
all,
worry, guys, it's gonna happen to you.
You know, you
yeah, this is all planning stuff from
Thank God you're at the age that you're at, enjoy that.
freaking site we had, we got it, you know.
Yeah.
Will we get in trouble if we start a minute early? I know everybody's so happy with me over here. So.
I don't have any legal advice on that, man.
Okay, where's the direction?
I think that clock's slow.
Alrighty.
7 o'clock.
Well, I guess I'd like to welcome everybody to the November planning board meeting that is going to be a work session. I didn't want a month to go by without everybody getting to see each other. So, but, you know, there's some interest in trying to move things forward. Okay. With that being said, the fire exits are out the door to the left and the right. There's an AED across the hall. All right, does anybody hear the DNR? Okay. If it's needed, we can use it. All right. With that being said, Cheryl, you order.
Linda Drew,
Here.
Steve Law,
Here.
Dave Martin,
Here.
Chris Schleider,
Yep.
Mark Fellerstein,
Here.
James Nesbitt,
Here.
Steve Hittner.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to review last month's meeting board minutes? If so, is there any additions, deletions, corrections?
Anything on the roof?
Motion for approval?
Second.
Linda Drew,
Yes.
Steve Law,
Abstain.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Schleider,
Yes.
Mark Fellerstein,
Yes.
James Nesbitt,
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Okay, and it is passed. Okay, we've cut down another woods, and we've got the plans in front of us. And there was a synopsis and summary provided. We had the last time we all got together, we had a nice conversation and talked about where we were going with it. And you want to give us a brief overview of what you presented to us, and then we'll run it through the writers.
Sure. Hello again, I'm Charlie Branham. I'm the project manager for this project. Yeah, so from the last time we talked, we took your feedback. So what we did on the updated site plans is we added the extra parcel of land for the subdivision into the plans. Based on that, we moved the access road. It was on originally the north property. We moved it down to the south part of the property to incorporate that 5 acres for the subdivision. We added some of the titles, so Walker Lake, Ontario Road, things like that, to the site plans as well. So we took your feedback and changes and tried to incorporate them into the site plan.
All righty. Any other comments you would like to make before we go down the line here?
That's it.
Okay, this is gonna be a work session, so whether there might be some formal requests and considerations and stuff, let's tune this up to where it's gotta be, so
Sounds good.
we can accept it as some further date.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay. JP, I know you've had all about 15 minutes or an hour to look at everything.
Actually,
I appreciate your
I got the
diligence
plans.
by
I got the plans around you.
spending good gas money come out here today. I just missed you by a few minutes.
Well, I did have a chance to look at the plans today, the new submission, and reviewed it in light of my comment letter and in light of, some comments that you had on a markup set. So, here's where I stand on things. The plan the application still indicates 30% civil design. I've not received written comments regarding my first letter. So there's a lot of civil details still missing, and I'm reluctant to really dive in when a plan says it's 30% civil, and that's my job. I'm the civil engineer.
So these are preliminary. These are not 30%. These are preliminary site plans. So what we do is we would take them and update and get more detailed as far as coming back for the building permit. So these are the preliminary plans. And then we would update.
With these solar projects, we call this 30% because it's 30% of the whole project, because we don't have electrical. Electrical is a big piece of that. So 30% of the design of the whole project is done in the civil plans. Once we get to 60 and 90%, that's when the electrical plans come in, and building plans and things like that for construction.
Okay, but the Charlie's letter notes item 7, preliminary site plans, 30% civil design. So,
Yeah, I think that's more of a terminology that kind of we use, is calling it 30%, because
Okay.
for the project,
So
it's 30%.
I'm just telling you, I'm reluctant to go dive in deep on civil review if I'm only looking at 30% plan.
I think what should be said is when somebody submits a set of plans, they're supposed to be complete. We can give a preliminary approval where we identify a couple of outstanding issues, but we don't do a preliminary approval on an incomplete plan or what someone wants to style a preliminary plan. The expectation is, again, they submit a complete plan, which is what's holding us up. And this, as JP has indicated, things really haven't changed since last time we were here. This is more than a sketch, but it's less than complete, even by their own admission, and no matter how you define it. The other gentleman saying that they use a different scale, and when you hit 60%, that's something else. Well, this is half of that. So however you measure it using their metric, it's not even half complete.
Okay, all right, let me take that and add something then, all right? what happens with our site plan review, especially with the seeker, we have to send out your plans to other agencies that we're bound to share with them. We're bound by town law to get their comments and incorporate it. Okay. And also, we pay a consultant a fee for time to look at things, and if something changes up front, does it cause an increase or a change down the road? And I understand your electrical issues and stuff, because this is what it is, it's an industrial electrical facility. Okay. To go forward, so there's no significant real changes here, okay? Other than adding the operation and maintenance plan, the glint glare analysis, is that in here?
Yes, that's in the booklet.
All right, visual assessment, the wetland determination, and ag and markets, although you did have some preliminary comments from ag and markets. Okay?
Right.
So that is in here. So of the total package, you probably, in our minds, I would say maybe another 4 to 5%, if I'm not correct, complete with it, which these are willful acknowledgements. The glint glare analysis, the visual assessment, and the ag and markets determination, because it's an agribusiness community, are gonna be strong points of contention when you get to public hearing. Okay?
Right.
So for us to show due diligence, we need to look at them. And,
You have the letters,
Chris.
correct?
right.
Chris, some of those are in the package.
Yeah, I briefly went through those. But I'm saying, is that enough based on what we have? Okay, and based on some additional comments we might have here tonight to move this application down the line here.
I haven't seen the full package. All I got is prints.
Everybody got prints. We had enough for 4. We
Okay,
could share one, but now we're down to 3.
okay.
Keith, you have some other focal points?
No, that's primarily my concern, and like JP, frankly, I don't see the point of diving in if it's not even complete. I mean, we're here, and if you have other concerns you wish to bring up, now's the time, but.
Well, the board, I'm sure, is gonna have some additional questions here tonight.
Chris, can I jump back in? I only got on item 1. So,
My apologies.
there was a visual assessment provided. It's in this package. You don't need to be a civil engineer to look at it and say, is that sufficient or not? Does it tell you the story? So it's in there. I think you should look at that. There is a mention of a SHPO, State Historic Preservation Office, no effect, ladder, it's missing.
It should be in there.
Okay, mine didn't have it there. Civil details about DOT entrances, neighboring properties, utility locations. That's civil stuff that I can accept it. We're not there yet. Seeker form usually. It's customary nowadays to have the EAF mapper included with your long form, and that's not provided. The stormwater pollution prevention plan still includes the former alignment with the trackers, and so the most recent application is now going back to stationary, facing south, stationary arrays And the stormwater plan is still based on trackers. And there's other civil details I'd like to see on the laydown area. The laydown area remained in the same location even though the entrance moved, so there's no connectivity to laydown area. And there's a lot of details that during construction activities, that laydown area and working area becomes pretty important because there's a lot of activities go on there. As where the truck traffic goes, that's where offices are, temporary electric and storage, containers, dumpsters, parking areas, temporary site controls, gates, things like that. So there's civil details that need to be elaborated. That's what I got.
Well, good. I wanted to get a little more out of you anyway.
Oh, good. There you go.
All right, thank you, Hamlin. Somewhat more satisfied. Keith, that being said, this is more of a general question, because we've had to deal with it on other projects, and most recently, one of wants to get started. Decommissioning plans, okay? At what time should the town be provided based on a decommissioning plan? Okay, a reasonable fiscal document or something we can hold on to, and we know that the dollar amounts are correct, to send to the town board, and would the responsibility to contact the town attorney for approval lay with us making a formal request, or someone like you talking to the town attorney?
It's not our job, frankly. It's their job to contact the town attorney. And like a letter of credit on a residential subdivision,
Right.
you know, we don't sign off on the plans, the Mylar, until the letter of credit is in place. Well, we're not going to sign off on these plans until the decommissioning plan as well as the decommissioning bond have been reviewed and accepted by the town attorney.
Okay.
And so that's before the planning board approval, or that's before building permit?
That's before building permit, and that's before anyone signs the Mylar.
Okay. Yes, we normally provide those before building permits issued.
Okay.
So that's not our concern, that's their problem.
We just need to know there is one.
Actually, our job ends
Not
once
sure.
the Mylar is signed. So actually, I'm not even sure what the internal control here in Hamlin is. I mean, in some towns, the letter of credit is held, you know, the town clerk won't sign until they see the letter of credit, and it's been blessed. And so I'm not even sure what we do here on that.
Well, you know what? I'm not either. So, and it's come up before. There's an internal thing, Cheryl, is that something that can be discussed?
I can discuss it with the supervisor and the town attorney.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So that's cleaning up some of our bailiwick.
So that would just be kind of a condition of approval for you guys. You know, we have to get that before we get a final.
It would be, once we approve it, you would then submit the Mylar for signature. And the Mylar would not be signed until we've seen proof that that's been satisfied.
Yeah, that would be one of the conditions to.
Well, it is, yeah, in fact, it's a statutory condition.
Yeah.
Even if we say nothing about it, it's still required.
Just bringing more clarity, all right? Linda?
I don't know why we're even discussing all this when we, time after time, we're not getting the answers that we're supposed to get.
Which answer is, so I guess I need more clarification on which answers you're looking
Well,
for.
I just think that we're not getting the complete work that we need to go ahead with anything.
So even though they say preliminary, these are the plans, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But these are the plans. So
Well,
they say
evidently
preliminary.
Don't meet our civil engineer's needs, what we expect you to have.
So I guess then I can get clarification from him on exactly what is needed on the plans, because before the building permit's issued, we'll come back with our detailed plans and talk to you all before the building permit is issued. So,
Or, no, come in with them now. I've never heard that argument. I've been doing this for 30 years. Come in with complete plans now.
so these are the complete plans, we just add the
And you just got
electrical.
done 30 seconds ago saying you're gonna come in with complete plans later for the building permit.
Talking about electrical.
Those two things don't, they don't. I'm not asking for the building plans, we're talking about the site plan, that's what's before this board.
Right, so this is the site plan.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but by your own standards, by the statements from two of you gentlemen, you made it clear that they're not complete. And besides, our own civil engineers believes they're not complete.
These are the complete site plans. The project, overall, the full project.
I heard the argument the first time. I heard that.
Right, and by, Charlie, your own letter here dated September 21 says preliminary site plans 30% civil design.
Right, that's what we call it internally.
Well, I don't care what you call it.
So we can take that off and just say.
Mr. Chairman, there's an easy path forward here.
Okay.
You got a couple of choices. If you believe the plans are inadequate, you could vote the darn thing down and be done with it. Or in the alternative, we can bump them to the following month where they can consult with JP. So we don't have to keep playing this round and round we go game and find out what is necessary to submit complete plans if apparently they're not familiar with how to do that.
Okay.
I think, I mean, I've listened to what they said, you've heard what they said, and we're kind of dancing around here, and we're wasting our time.
Okay, I am gonna go through the rest of the board that's been taken under advisement.
I will not review a set of plans in my job that I do for another municipality until my civil engineer or my engineer is satisfied with what's presented. If he's involved in the operation of whatever's being done, until my engineer tells me he's satisfied with what's been given to him, I will not forward anything. It will not go to the planning board. It just won't move until that engineer is satisfied. Period.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if you're saying it's only 30%, I've never heard that before. I've never heard any engineer come in here and say it's only 30%.
It's not, sorry.
Well, then why would you say it?
That's an internal, that's what we call it internally. It's a preliminary site plan.
Well, that's something that comes out of your office. That's the way you say it.
Right. It doesn't mean that these are incomplete, that's what I'm.
Well, we gotta see 100%, that's what I say.
Okay.
Okay.
I think if they're not complete, we cannot do anything with the secret determination at all. We can't determine whether it's a type 1 or not. We can't send the letters out. We can't do anything because this is subject to change. If this is the way, if you say this is cast in stone, nothing out here is going to change. And then if when we do make a motion for a secret determination, we do type 1 positive declaration, and I think you have 62 days.
Well, the time of accepting the application.
Yeah, and if you're not here, if there's any problem, we'd have to ask for an extension for it. You're done, you're gonna start all over again. So I think we have to do the arm wrestling on whether this is complete enough to do, and I'm scared of the 30% that you probably wish wasn't on there right now.
Mark.
Yeah, I think I understand their point about 30%. The civil portion of it is a small portion of the overall design effort. And they're saying that overall it's at 30%. The civil, however, is maybe 60, 70%. I can't tell because I haven't looked at it for more than 5 minutes, which is JP is going to be our determination as to whether or not it's good enough to take it forward. So I think we're just looking at mainly the civil discipline needs to be approvable, reviewable.
Okay, and I just want to say that Mark in his whole career and everything has been as a civil engineer. Okay.
Get you in trouble, sir.
Okay. And he was very kind. All right. Steve?
I feel that there's some failure to communicate, where you need to, understand what the terminologies that we need to be. And I am not an expert, I'm not a town engineer, civil engineer. I base my vote on what he says. When he's happy, I'm happy.
Okay. So in
Understood.
the grand scope of everything we've talked here tonight, okay, the civil aspect of this drawing, your comments are that that's not gonna change significantly. But maybe because the road changes location and, you know, where it comes into the project, maybe we're a setback, if we were looking at a setback. Where the drainage is going into the project now and where what's the rate it's gonna go out, or would be changing roadside drainage and all of those stuff. We understand you can't complete that until another agency comes in and says, yeah, we'll grant a highway permit, okay? There is room for some improvement. As chairman, I get cut in half because I need to make sure a meeting goes smoothly, that we do the due diligence, and that everybody needs to perform at a certain level before we represent the town in the right manner. So I gotta be at one time the cheerleader for the town, okay, but I also have to try to move things along because it shouldn't be a waste of time. My suggestion would be to change your cover letter, okay? Spend some time with JP, either electronically or whatever, to get it to a level so that we can accept the application and get it in process where we send out all the other stuff. We'd like a couple more copies of these if this isn't gonna change significantly.
Correct.
You know,
I'll send that over.
I did see the addition to, about local park close by, Hamlin Beach State Park. That is a linear park, the whole parkway.
Okay.
All right. So that's been a change. The rest of it, your floodplain analysis and the administrator, she's here, okay, which is a process in its own. It's not an arduous process, right, Cheryl? Floodplain management approval and getting someone to get the documentation correct. Not a biggie, all right? One more thing I want to bring up, and this is more Cheryl's bailiwick. There was some contact with residents by someone going door to door. Okay, it was spoken. I hear it at third hand. It was spoken to this project that it could save them X amount of percent on their electric bill, and one resident felt somewhat threatened by the approach that was taken. We have peddler's permits in this town, and until we get going with the thing, sometimes you see notifications that this person's coming into town and become part of the community with electronic bill reductions if you become part of the club. But there's a different way to approach it. So please be aware. With that being said, I really don't want to take any votes tonight. Okay, I don't want to vote one way or the other. But the starting point is here. You spent some time, you made some copies. I'd like to get a couple more of these for some of the members on the board. I don't know how many more you'd like. I'd like one, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'd like 10.
10, okay.
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Once we get into the process of getting together with, or sending out comments, sending out, asking for comments from other agencies, there's gonna be a need for some additional paperwork, so that they get the same package we get, okay?
Is that included in the 10 or would that be additional?
That would be additional at that time.
Okay.
We circulate complete application packages for seeker, everything.
And that's one of the other things, when they're gonna see that and they're gonna run scared too. And not that we've done this before, but, with that being said, any other comments? There's nobody here from the town board.
I had a question though in regards to, because I see you separated off the house and you're doing subdividing, so you're taking over basically the whole rest of the property and changing the designation of everything, even the wetlands out back?
No, so we would just lease the property that we're building on. So the 20, I think it's 22 acres.
And then is there still gonna be access to the back portion?
Yes, sir. Yes, there'll be access on both sides to get to the back.
Should they not be coming for subdivision before you accept?
Well, if
This
you're gonna
plan?
do a formal subdivision of the
They have to do a
property,
formal
you'll be leasing the portion that's out of there. I don't care whether you lease it, own it, or anything else like that,
Mhm.
but to pull that out of there, get on board with zoning, okay? And you'll have time, all right? So,
But subdivision is planning board.
well, yeah, I get it, but,
Mhm.
We were gonna do the subdivision and this approval in conjunction, in parallel with each other.
okay. So this is gonna stay residential, very low density,
Yeah.
and the special permit only puts it into a different category, so.
I think there's a plan.
Is there a plan?
Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
a drawing with meets and bounds.
Yeah, there is.
The small. Farmstead they're taking out.
Setback requirements, and height requirements for the solar or the non-training, is that put in the zoning board? And I saw at one place a comment about 94 foot to the fence. Should that say setback?
We would have to go by the setbacks that are approved for solar facilities.
Right.
And I
Not
thought we
necessarily
were above the
zoning.
height that was in the zoning code.
Yeah, from my review, Chris, setbacks look fine.
Okay.
The solar code has a fence of minimum of 6 feet.
Yes.
Right.
The electrical code, I believe, is
Leave us
minimum of
over
7.
seven.
So
We dealt with that on the other one.
yeah, so I don't think there's a variance.
Changing
No,
to
no
a
variance for that,
stationary,
you're right.
stationary array was a question about height.
Right, I thought they were
Am I-
a little higher than
am I-
the code.
They actually
Am I
go,
imagining that, or?
No, it was, I think, our request to keep it lower, because they went to a fixed unit, which lowers.
they actually go lower.
Okay. So,
So it's less visible.
Yeah, we're right under 8 feet at this point.
Yeah, you changed panels or something to do that.
Right, correct.
The first time it came in for discussion.
It was at 14.
The talk was 14 foot,
Right.
and I made the statement that we put a limit of 12 foot on one, and so,
Right. Now we have it about 8.
yeah. I think it wasn't meant to be that big of a deal.
Right.
so you got two things going in the same place at the same time concurrently. It's the subdivision of the property. Okay. This takes it out of this, and then this. Are we gonna be able to accomplish this?
Yes, sir. Yeah, if it's okay with JP, we'll get time set up with you this week or next week, and we'll talk through kind of what we can do to get to what's needed.
Yeah, we do show proposed property lines, there's no meets and bounds. I'm trying to see 2.1.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll need meets and bounds.
Yeah.
To make it subdivision map.
If you are seeking subdivision approval, the EAF should mention that on the second page. Like one of the permits.
That was one of my comments from last time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
steal your
because
thunder.
I gave it to him. I gave it to him, and they seem to have moved towards it, but you need the description.
It's just my opinion, and I don't know if anybody else has any opinions, but I think they should get subdivision approval before, not in conjunction, before we go through with this solar approval. I'm just talking, just talking out loud, in case anything happens to go wrong. And then it held up any
Property,
longer.
is the property a rental property anyways? And
Well,
both
I think it is a rental
people-
property.
That shouldn't really matter.
Shouldn't matter?
No, that's what I'm
Don't-
saying.
So I have to send them subdivision application.
Okay.
Okay.
They literally could do that at the beginning of the same meeting, you know what I mean, take care of subdivision and then move on.
Yeah, it has to be
I mean, we
two separate public
Depends on
hearings.
the public hearing, if we are concurrent, if that's possible, which I don't think it is, but,
Mhm.
because of having to send out the timeframes that are allowed. But if we get to that end, when you have a public hearing, you have two public hearings at the same night,
Mhm.
and you just do one before the other, and that makes it.
No different than when you do a SUP and a.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah, so.
One bears on the other.
Okay, if there's no further questions, and there's no further comments from anyone, I'll accept to request for adjournment.
Well, do we have to make a motion to table this till December sixth or no? No.
If they want to come back, you want to come back in December?
Yeah.
Okay, then I would table it to December 6th.
I will make a motion to table the application till December sixth.
Second.
All the votes?
Linda Drew? Yes. Steve Locke?
Yes.
Dave Martin?
Yes.
Chris Schleider? James Nesbitt?
Yes.
Mark Ballerstein?
Yes.
Steve Hittner?
Before we go, let's talk calendar. In a perfect world, when would you want to start? You talking?
So ideally, we would like to start next summer to have it completed by the end of the summer, before winter. That would be our ideal timeline. To have it completed by the end of, say the end of 22.
Was it simple? Yeah.
Well, I thank you for coming all the way here, and it's just for clarity. Okay,
Yeah, thanks for having us.
you okay with that?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you for coming.
It'll be colder in December, won't it, right?
We can take it.
As a Floridian, we got our cold front this week and it dropped into the high 70s.
You're talking snowflakes, coming up at the end of the week, you better rush back.
Yeah.
I think Wednesday they're calling for freezing something, Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Here.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one.
Well, we could be in Alaska.
You live into
Could be
another
in Alaska.
forecast.